what's up? It's Sean Baligian.
What up? This is Joique Bell here on the Baligian and Bell Show.
Make sure you check us out on the Woodward Sports Network. What up, Doe? So glad you could join us on a Wednesday morning, not just any Wednesday morning. Joique, it's been a while since I heard you say this.
It's What Up, Doe?
What up, Doe?
What Up, Doe Wednesdays? What Up, Doe Wednesdays, where we focus on local businesses in the area. I love it.
I love What Up, Doe. What up, Doe?
What up, Doe Wednesdays? But yeah, focusing on the small businesses in the local area. Try to give them some more pub during these times.
Yeah.
We all need a little bit of help.
Oh, isn't that the
We
truth?
all need a little bit.
Our souls need a little bit of health. I mean, there's just so much bringing us down right now, man.
It's so much.
It's so sad. It really is. It's so sad.
And you know what though? It's just another hurdle that.
I like to hear you say that.
It's just another hurdle.
I like to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I mean, yeah, it's a mindset. So whatever you want it to be, whatever you think it shall be. All right. So I have a saying like in my house. None of my kids can say I can't. All right. Because whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. And so in my house, you can't say I can't. And my son says, Dad, I can't do. I need 100 push-ups. Every time he says I can't, I need 100 push-ups.
Kids, does that sound familiar? Jack and Lauren, if you guys are watching, does that sound familiar?
No, so.
Joique, I swear to God, I did the exact same thing when they were little.
And every time I say something about parenting, you always do that smile you do.
It makes me happy.
Yeah.
It just, you know what?
You do that smile and. It makes me feel like, okay, I'm heading in the right direction.
No, I don't know about that. I'm not sitting here saying that I'm the barometer of all good things parenting, but it makes me.
Hey.
It makes me smile because you know what? I have two pretty good kids, and that's the exact same thing. I said I don't believe. I would always say I don't believe in I can't. I don't believe in I can't. And to this day, I mean, my daughter has this big chemistry thing going on, right? Yeah. And she's been, just obsessing about it for days, And I told her, I said, honey, I'm not trying to minimize what you're going through, but what have I always told you? And she says it without, hesitation. She always drops the, Dad, if I give my best, I have nothing to hang my head about. And I said, okay, cool. Are you giving your best? I said, then that's all you can do. You can't give any more than your best. There isn't some, dig down and find an extra level. There's no such thing. I said, honestly, you're the only one that can answer that. I can't answer it. Your mom can't answer it. Your brother can't answer it. Your grandparents can't answer it. Are you giving your best? Yep. Okay, cool. Cool. I mean, right? That's yep. I love to hear that. That makes me happy.
Hey, what's funny? Vinny, we talked about this morning. I was in the other room. I was with Jesse, and me and Jesse was talking. And Vinny comes on here and says exactly what I've been saying for I don't know how long, but he said, check your cryptos if you have them. Everything is way up right now, and that's so true. If I've been telling you, I told you yesterday.
True story.
I told you. I said you got to get it. I said you got to get it now. And you say, you know what, Joique? If you say it, I believe you. Yeah, you said it. If you say I believe you, but. You made a lot of smart decisions, so to you it's just I don't need it.
Well, you always want more, right?
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's. I'm not.
When has somebody said no? That's enough.
There are things that we've made some really good decisions, and there, as there are some things that I can't do yet that I can do in the next 10 years. That some of those good decisions are going to become even better decisions. But you know how it is. You have to be patient, and that's it's tough sometimes. Absolutely, it's tough sometimes. You should do an explanation about the cryptos, because I think like when somebody says all right, so let me read what Vinny said.
All right.
Check your cryptos if you have them. Everything is way up right now.
Yeah.
I think there's a level of what is crypto that is out there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'll give you an example on what crypto is. So crypto is just a new form of payment method. So when they created cryptocurrency, they created this thing what they call a blockchain. So a blockchain is basically a online ledger where you can go on there, you can make transactions, and you're able to see that transaction forever. It can never be manipulated. It can never be altered. And so that's one thing about the blockchain. It's very secure. The thing that made it so appealing back in the day when it was first created is that a person can send another person money using cryptocurrency, and you couldn't see who the sender was, and you couldn't see who the receiver was. You can only see the transaction. And so it was basically decentralized, and that what made it so appealing. And so you have like a lot of different countries all using the same currency. And I'll give you an example. It was funny because I think it was a large number of people. I'm paraphrasing. I think it was about 100 people that were in the Bitcoin market, and they made over $100 million a piece in the crypto when the crypto shot up, I think in 2017. And I'm thinking none of them paid taxes on it because it wasn't technically, it was in limbo.
Sure.
It was in limbo.
Sure.
And so when that happened, the government said, "Oh no, we need our money." And so they actually, in China, they banned Bitcoin for a while until they can figure out how they could regulate it. We never shut it down here, but it was in limbo. And usually the government is not going to shut down big business. They just want to figure out a way to regulate it so they can get their portion. They can get their piece. And around the same time Bitcoin was shooting up and getting bigger was the same time marijuana was getting big here, and they were trying to figure out how to regulate marijuana. And so you're in the middle of like all these things happening at one time, and how the government kind of regulated crypto. It wasn't by going after, like Bitcoin, because they can't go after Bitcoin because they don't know who designed it.
Yep.
It's a name out there, and they can't put a face with the name. They don't know who designed it, and so they can't shut it down. So it's crazy. So they go after the platforms that sell crypto, and that's how they get all of our information. And if the platforms aren't willing to give that information, they shut down that platform.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it's a lot that goes into it, but it's very simple once you get into it. It's like a foreign language. Once you stay around it, things will start to make sense after a while. And I've probably been in for close to 4 years now, and so.
Do you know what's interesting? And this is a quote that I used to hear all the time. Like, my parents are stuck in their ways, right? You might use the word stubborn. My dad in particular is a very, very stubborn man. I mean, till the very end, he's just a very, very stubborn man. Mm-hmm. But I use the term, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And what I mean by this is, it's funny. Vinny said, I got into this market in 2016. You mentioned you got into it in 2017. It's funny because you made reference to this. The way that I got involved in some stocks and things like that was right at the tail end of the recession. I got in at the right time. I got out at the right time, in particular in a couple different markets, but that's a story for another day. And I think you made reference to this. It's nice. I think if I was in my mid to late 30s, I'd probably be more intrigued by it. But you know what part of the problem is, and I explained this to you yesterday, I can see the finish line over there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's still a ways away. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I know you were ready to have mass celebrations. The evil is going and everything. But I can see the finish line. You know what I mean? I'm not that long away from being able to go, dude,
I'm done.
I did it. I got it, and now it's not sitting in perpetuity. It's mine. It's all there and everything. So I think that is the impetus for a lot of younger people. That maybe the older people, you can't teach us old dogs new tricks and everything. Yeah,
you know, because you know what? Because a lot of the older wealthy people who invested, say, in gold, they invest in the gold thinking like as time went on, the younger generation would start to purchase and buy more gold. But when this cryptocurrency came out, you see the gold numbers start to go down. And so a lot of these wealthy people are taking their money out of gold and kind of shifting it over into the crypto market. And you see a lot of different hedge funds, a lot of different financial institutions are starting to get into crypto now. You can actually buy Tesla now using Bitcoin.
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's slowly shifting over to this new fad. So I'm excited to be in it. And the funny thing is, there's 7 point something billion people on this earth, and people think it's too late to get into crypto, but understand it's not even. We don't even have 10% of the world on this yet.
Absolutely.
And so even if you got in now, even though you think the numbers are high, you're still getting in early. Like you're still getting in early. And so I will urge you to do your research on the coins that you invest in, because you have like different markets, right? So you have like a lot of major coins. Like you have Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, you have XRP, you have Binance. So you have all these different coins, and a lot of these coins are their own market. And so when I say that, means you'll buy this coin, and then this coin has about another 800 to 1,000 coins in it, that in order to get these coins, you have to buy this coin first and then use it to invest in these other coins. Sure. And so it's getting to a point now to where you don't have to do that on these certain platforms. You can just go right to this coin and just purchase this coin. And that's what's making the market kind of grow. And smart contracts. Have you ever seen the movie Ready Player One? Fish, have you seen that movie Ready Player One?
Yeah, my kids are
Adam, have you seen that movie?
Yep.
Hey, put on Adam. Adam, have you seen Ready Player One?
I have.
All right, so they have a coin, right? I'm gonna give you an example. They have a coin called the Decentraland, right? And I invested in this coin back early on. And this coin, you can go into the coin like a virtual reality, just like how they would do it on Ready Player One, and you can create your own land, your own world, and you can literally go there. And when I say go there, you can go there, buy the land, you can build a club, say you built a club, and you have other people going into this virtual reality. They would have to pay you to get into your club. And so now when they're paying you real money to get into your virtual reality club. And so now every time they spend a coin, they burn a coin, which helps the price of the coin go up. Sure. And so it's a lot of different coins out there that's very unique like this, that you have to look at their technology, because there's close to 9,000 coins now. When I got into it, it was about 2,300.
No kidding.
And now it's really grown. Like I've even created a coin. I did. I'm not gonna lie to you. I created one. And so as time goes on, like you just sit back and you trust the process. When the coins go down, don't take it out. Don't get scared, because it's the long game we're playing. It's a long game.
Wait, does that sound familiar? Anybody out there that's been involved in
it's a long game we're playing. We're playing a long game. And so I was happy that I invested in it, and I lost a lot at the beginning, but I never took it out. And then all of a sudden, I trusted the process. And oh boy, did it pay off.
Yeah, well, dude, you know what it is, and I think anybody can relate to this, that there a lot of times what happens is, do you know the way that I looked at things? Like when I lost, I don't even want to tell you, a lot off my portfolio around 08, 09, you can't lose your mind over it, because it's not money that you have anyway. And that's what I would tell, because some of my buddies, you got to remember at the time, we're all in our late 30s, right? Holy crap, what the, I had this and now it's this. And I was like, you had nothing. You didn't. I mean, you had it in name, but it's not like, hey, Joique, let's roll to the bank right now and take that money out. You didn't have it. the good news for people that were around my age is there was enough time where you were going to take your hit, but you knew if you were smart and you stayed the course and played the long game, as you said, you were going to go back like this. The people that I felt sorry for, if I was, instead of being 37, 38 years old, if I was 57, 58 years old, I would have been out of my mind. Seriously, I would have been out because, the finish line's right there now, not over there. I would have been out of my mind at the time.
And you know what it is? A lot of people are saying they don't want to get into it that are a little bit older. Mm-hmm. Like my mother said, she didn't want to get into it because she didn't want to take that risk. A lot of older people don't want to get into it because they don't want to take that risk. And I understand that, but it's not a risk because it's not going anywhere. And once they were able to regulate it and made it legal so that financial institutions can get into it, you saw the rise in a lot of the coins. Now, I mean, they're even rolling out different prototypes for a USD coin. Slowly but surely, I think we're going to be shifting over from fiat currency over into this crypto market.
I am one, Joique. I am one. I don't like to tell people how to live their lives. Okay, mm-hmm. I think you've probably figured that out about me. Whether it be an individual, whether it be the government, we're wonderful bodies, and we can make our own choices and everything. Can I make a suggestion? I don't want to tell you what to do. To young Adam sitting over there, or young Fish sitting over there, listen. When guys are talking like this, I'm serious. And a guy like Joique is not only saying this because he's lived it, but you can benefit mightily for it. And that's the biggest thing. Joique, I wish I would have been more cognizant of things like that in my 20s. You know what I mean? Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, in your 20s, you know, whatever, I work for the next 30 years or anything. But you can always get started on doing this. And Joique, here comes the word. Make your money work for you.
Make it.
It's like,
what's the term? You know, the term is if you're not making money while you're asleep, you'll work the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And that quote always stayed in my head. And so I got around people that were smarter than me, honestly, because I'm not gonna say I'm dumb, but I definitely was around people who kind of helped guide me and kind of show me the way.
Here, at the end of the day, like Joique, you're basically saying the exact same thing that happened with me. I'm not dumb. Mm-hmm. Who knows this stuff? Mm-hmm. Who knows this stuff, right? Yeah. I mean, there's no path there's no book that I have this book by Adam that no, there's no A through Z to get there. So you know what you do? You sit down with a guy like Adam, or you sit down with a guy like Joique, or you sit down with somebody a billionaire that, for whatever reason, decided that he was going to give me some great advice, and I used that great advice, and it worked to my benefit.
It worked. It worked.
Yeah, listen to smart people, right? It's not a bad thing.
Listen to them. I'm telling you. You know what's hilarious? Because sometimes they don't have to be older than you. My little cousin told me about cryptocurrency.
For real?
My little cousin.
Now, when you say little,
my younger cousin.
How much younger?
He's probably about 5 years younger. And so he told me about cryptocurrency. He was a freshman in college. He invested into the market. I think he invested probably like just $2,000. And then I think within a week and a half, it flipped over to $12,000. And he didn't even know what he was doing. And he said, I don't know what I was doing. And so that's when him about another 10 more of his friends who were all at the same university started to really study, because it's a lot of information, and it's more information than what one person can kind of handle. And so it's good to have a team of people that's looking at news, what's going on in India, news of what's going on in China, news about what's going on here, seeing the different technology and the different coins and what they're doing. And I think we talked about this on the show when people were buying NFT, basically buying like these crypto cards where it was basically of players, like player cards on crypto, and that shot up. And I'm like, I didn't understand why that shot up. So it's very interesting. I think it's something that if you haven't looked into, you should definitely look into, and a lot of fun. But since we're talking about finances, have I told you guys about Hall Financial?
Pro.
Whoa.
Pro.
Whoa. When is the last time you checked your interest rate? If it's over 3%, then you need to call Hall Financial for a free 5-minute mortgage checkup and tell them Woodward Sports sent you. Hall Financial is fast, and they do all of the heavy lifting for you, so go to davidhallmortgage.com now to get started. Hall Financial, lower payments, better options, and more personal attention.
Can you believe we're only a couple weeks away from the draft? Lots of draft stuff out there. Joique, I'm intrigued to hear what you're hearing. There are a couple different, at the end of the day, there are a couple different mocks that we want to talk about as well. So much to do on a Wednesday morning. That's why we're here. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
You don't fumble the ball at work. Hey, Joique Bell, Sean Baligian. See you guys next weekend.
Thanks, mate. Oh, Bell's soft. Wait till it comes to New Zealand. Pour that out.
All right, so Joique, you know what I do want to ask you about? I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm going to read verbatim. We tweeted this out earlier this morning. By the way, what up, Doe? Here's a statement. With the voluntary workout period starting shortly and no acceptable resolution to our union's negotiations with the NFL over comprehensive COVID-19 protocols, we will be exercising our CBA right to not attend voluntary workouts. We know our home state of Michigan continues to get hit hard by the pandemic, and based on the continuing guidance of medical experts, it is in everyone's best interest to play it safe again this offseason. Players on our team are proud to support other players around the league in making an informed decision about their health and safety, guided by the facts and support from our union. That is a statement on the behalf of the Detroit Lion players, okay? And to that, I say bravo. Bravo. How could somebody be against Joique if you and your teammates decided that you weren't comfortable with the way things are going on right now in our great state? And I don't know how any human could be. But how on earth could somebody be agitated at a decision like that you guys doing that for the voluntary workouts? Let me ask you this, because our buddy Chad brought this up, okay? It's easy to say if you are a veteran, if you are somebody that you know that you've got a job on the roster and everything. But Chad brought this up today. How about the guys like Joique Bell coming out of Wayne State? How about the guys like Joique Bell coming out of Wayne State right now? Mm-hmm. How much more difficult would it be right now, Joique?
Yeah.
You don't have those opportunities. And you know what? When Chad brought that up, I was like, holy crap, I didn't think about that. And the first thing I thought of is you. Because, Joique, you don't know this, okay? I'm serious. I'm going to tell you something you don't know.
Okay.
I told anybody to listen, you were going to the NFL. Mm-hmm. I saw it with my own two eyes. Not that I'm sitting here playing talent evaluator. I told anybody that. I went on the air. I told my partner, who was a Lions beat writer at the time, I said, this guy's going to be in the NFL. You're going to have to take my word for it. I'm not being a Wayne State slappy and everything. Yeah. It was just about you finding that opportunity to get there. All you needed was the door open a crack.
That's all I need.
That's all you needed.
That's all you needed.
That's all you needed. I'm not kissing your ass. I'm telling you the truth. I mean, It was like, I watched you play. This guy's better than other guys.
Yeah, okay? I remember. It's funny you said that, because I remember when Shannon Sharp spoke at the Harlan Hill commencement, when he said that it doesn't matter where you come from, it doesn't matter what schools you play for, because once you step foot in the NFL and you step foot on that football field, how much money you make, what school you went to, that doesn't matter. Once you step on that field, it's all football. And one thing you can't hide on that football field is talent.
Yep.
He said, And I swear he looked at me. He looked me in my eyes when he said that, and I felt like he was talking directly to me when he said that. And it was at that point in time where I was like, nothing's gonna stop me from, fulfilling this dream of mine. All right. So does this hurt the chances of people like me who didn't get drafted, who had to kind of fight and scrap to get to make a team or to get on a roster or even to make a practice squad? Yes and no, right? It helps you to a standpoint of you being able to get that timing down with the quarterback, getting that timing down with your O-lineman. Does it hurt the evaluation on you? Yes, a little bit, because they can't see you as much. But understand, you're not with, the scouts or the coaches that whole off-season program. The first couple of weeks, you're just with you're going to be just with the weight room coach, and then after a couple of weeks, then the coaches come in. You can do like position drills and a couple routes, and then now the coaches come in. Now you're going through the whole OTA kind of thing, and then you're going through mini camp. So if you don't have that, it sucks for the standpoint of not being able to get that timing. But they're really looking at you during training camp to see how you play in the games. The eye in the sky doesn't lie.
Yep.
But if you're a young guy coming in, you going to these OTAs and off-season workouts are going to teach you kind of how to be a pro, right? This is what you need to do when you go back home when we break in June, right? And so a lot of guys don't know how to be pros yet when they're coming in as rookies, so they have to be around some guys that can teach you how to be a pro. So that's the downfall. But the evaluation, you'll get evaluated during training camp, and you'll have an opportunity to go out there and showcase your talent. And then it's up to you.
You know what I love? It's so funny because the NFL, just hearing you describe it, the NFL is like the great equalizer, because you're also a guy that you had to deal. Look, in the college football world, it's not exactly a secret. They are going to give a highly recruited 5-star athlete or 4-star athlete, they are going to give this guy every opportunity in the world to succeed.
That's going to be depending on where he was drafted.
Yeah, and that's when it all changes in the NFL, right?
Your first 1, 2, 3, and maybe 4. You can go out there first round. You can probably make about 3 or 4 mistakes. The same mistake. Second round, you might be able to make 3. Depending on your potential, they might give you 4. Third, fourth, you might get 2. 2. Third round, maybe 3 if you've been balling. But that 5th, 6th, 7th, you probably get 1 or 2, like 1 or 2. Undrafted, all you get is 1. You make that same mistake twice, you're out of here.
Yeah, and then
you're out.
See, in college, it's not going to catch those guys, but in the pro,
I was going to catch you.
That's where, and that's a point I'm making.
I remember.
I don't care if you were a 5-star athlete that 500 schools were recruiting 4 years ago. Okay, if Joique Bell comes in and plays better than you, guess what?
Yeah.
Chances are Joique Bell's going to win that job.
Yeah, it's funny because you weren't here, but we had Coach Mockins on. I remember when I played, we talked about it was me, Marshawn, CJ Spiller, Fred Jackson. We had Chad Simpson, and we also had a guy named Ronnie Ferguson. He was a fullback. And so he said, listen, guys, y'all, you guys make these mistakes. You guys want to be here and not put in the work. Don't be surprised if they knock on your door with the pink slip. With that plane ticket. Send the coach in the back. But he said, don't be surprised. Now, I ain't going to keep telling you. Well, all right. You're talking.
Yeah.
And so I remember him saying that. But, I ended up making a practice squad, and the other guys got cut. Like, they were out of there. And I remember when we had Coach Mockins on, he was telling us about when he coached at he's coaching at Denver now, and he went to the head coach. They had drafted, I think, a 2nd rounder and a 4th rounder, and then they had this undrafted kid to come in, and he went to the head coach and said, listen, coach, I need to let you know. And I think he went to the front office as well and said, listen, I know you guys drafted these guys. I know. But this undrafted guy is the best running back we got on the team. I'm going to play him. And he had to, like, put his name on the line for who he felt deserved to play. And when he said that, that resonated with me, what Shannon Sharp was saying when he was giving his acceptance speech going to the Hall of Fame about it doesn't matter what school you went to, it doesn't matter how much you're getting paid. Once you step on this football field, it's all football.
Yep.
You know? And so that guy went on as a rookie to be the first rookie to ever become a Pro Bowler. And who I'm talking about?
No.
Who's the starting running back for the Denver Broncos?
Are you talking about back in the day?
Nope. Talk about now.
I can't even think right now. Yeah,
Lindsay.
Oh yeah, Philip Lindsay. Yeah.
Yeah. So he came in and he earned a spot and played well.
Good
he got
for
the opportunity.
him. Good for him.
Yeah, and the stories like that I love to hear with the guys who have to work their way up and earn it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Love it.
You know. So like you said, there's no formula. There's no exact formula to how we do this because we're dealing with people, and the variable can always change. It can always change.
It's such a silly system too, and I'm sorry, you know, this even starts before, long before the NFL, because the whole stars thing, right? And I've had arguments with people for years about how, oh my goodness, did you see all these 4 and 5 stars that this university got or that university got, and clearly this is gonna equal their greatest recruiting class ever. And it's people kind of live and die with that stuff, and I don't get it, because I've watched teams that weren't supposed to be that good go like this, and I've watched teams that were supposed to be loaded and have all these 5-star talents go like that. There are so many other different variables that go into that. But Joique, it's always funny when I hear people talk that way, because it's just like the star system in and of itself. Braylon Edwards told me a funny story. Okay? And you know Braylon. What's up, yeah. Braylon? Braylon Edwards told me a very funny story. For those of you that don't remember, Braylon Edwards was a flat-out stud at Michigan. I mean, just a stud wide receiver. He was a legacy. His father played at Michigan. Braylon went on to have himself a career and make some money in the National Football League. Braylon told me, this is straight from Braylon's mouth. Braylon said before his senior year, he thought it was really strange that Michigan had never come knocking on the door. Michigan had never, ever come knocking on the door. He didn't get it. You know, here he was a legacy. He was in Michigan's backyard. You know, he was a guy that people knew of. At the time, he was a 3-star. He was a 3-star. And he said he went to a game his senior year, and they basically surprised him in the post game after Lloyd spoke to the team, and then he introduced a couple of the recruits, and he said, "This is Braylon Edwards. His father Stan played here. Braylon, we want you to play at Michigan." And Braylon was like, "Whoa, you know, this is awesome. I just got offered in the locker room in front of everybody." So, you know, obviously Braylon made the decision to go to Michigan. Braylon told me this, his own words, not mine. He goes, "I committed on a Saturday. I was a 3-star athlete. By the time Monday rolled around, just because Michigan was after me and I committed to Michigan, magically another star appeared next to my name." And I go, "How did that happen?" He goes, "Good question." He goes, "I didn't do anything. There was no game. I didn't play a game. I didn't put anything on tape. Mm-hmm. I was in a locker room. Lloyd Carr called my name, and I became a Michigan Wolverine, so magically an extra star appeared next to my name."
Won't he do it?
No, but you know what I mean?
Won't he do it?
How silly is that? I mean, and I was glad to hear him say how silly that was. Yeah. Nothing changed.
Nothing changed.
Just this. Really?
And that's what it is.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. People talking, and then people getting this narrative in their head. Sometimes it can be a false narrative. Sometimes it can be true, but they take it for your word because of either somebody above them said it, or their colleague or friend said it, who they kind of respect their opinion. And so now they have this narrative in their head, and now how do they get that out their head? Because a lot of these guys don't go through and watch a lot of film. They don't watch the whole games. They watch highlights. They watch highlights. They won't watch a whole game. And so small parts in the game you won't be able to see. And I'll give you a perfect example: the Indianapolis play.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't watch, that's not going to be on a highlight. But if you watch the game, you'll be like, that's a pretty good play. That's a pretty good play.
Pretty good.
It's a pretty good play. But if you're not watching film, you're not going to see. You're just going to watch the highlights, and then you're going to go about your business because it's just so many players. How can you watch film on multiple games of these guys? So, do I like it? No. Do I understand it? Somewhat.
Joique, I'll tell you what, it's interesting because and you live this life. It has exploded in the last 15 years, but I'm sure that you lived this life, and I'll let you talk about it. Another way that guys started to get the extra stars appear next to their name is going to these camps.
I never had a star.
Isn't that funny?
I never had a star by my name.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that hysterical?
I never had a star by my name. All right.
Not a star. Think
not
about
a star.
That. He wasn't a one star out of
anything.
Benton Harbor. Isn't that hysterical?
Nothing. You know what's funny? So, Coach Will, he used to coach at the University of Michigan. He heard about me, and he came down. And I think he might have came to a game or saw film of me. He watched film of me. That's what it was. And they were recruiting a group of guys, and he went to the coach's office and said, "Listen, coach, I want you to take a look at this guy here." And the coach said, "No, we already have a running back. We already did that." And he said, "Okay, but I just think he's a pretty good player." But it was funny because I went to go train because Troy told me about him, and I was going there to go train with them just to be healthy, not to try to get back, but just to stay healthy. And he said he remembered me from high school, and he said that if he would have fought harder for me, then I probably could have been at Michigan. But I'm happy he didn't, because I wouldn't probably have had the same type of success at Michigan that I would had at Wayne State.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause that year they had just got Mike Hart the year before. I don't know if you remember Kevin Grady.
I do. Yeah.
Kevin Grady. They also just got Antonio Bass, which Coach Will was telling me about. He said that as a freshman, he was the best player on the team. He said as a freshman, he was the best player on the team. With that freak accident when he tore his knee, had surgery. I think they hit a nerve, and he never played again. And then they had one more running back. I forgot his name. He was from Saginaw. So I'm like, I don't want to go here and be behind these guys and have to fight to try to get on the field. Like, I don't mind competing, but when you got 5-star running backs and a guy like Antonio Bass, who's ranked number 7th in the country at quarterback and number 4 as an athlete, I'm like, I don't want to go there and they're and I gotta try to. I'm like, no, I'll. And then when they did recruit me, they recruited me as a safety. Sean, they recruited me as a safety.
Joique Bell.
I said, I've never played safety a day in my life.
You know who
I say I'm on my way.
You know who I had a similar experience with?
Who?
Do you remember Chester Taylor?
That sounds familiar.
Played at River Rouge. He's a few years before you. He's 90s guy. Played at
that's a lot of years before me.
Played at River Rouge, but played
years.
in the league for a few years. Minnesota Vikings in particular. Okay. And Chester was a guy that was, here in the backyard, got the job. You know what? Opportunity came. They told him, "You're going to get the rock at Toledo. You are going to get the rock at Toledo." And the kid balled down in Toledo. End up getting drafted in the league, played about 10 years in the league and everything. And he told me the same thing because I was doing their games at the time, and he told me the exact same thing. He goes, "Could I have gone someplace else? Yeah, I probably could have." He goes, Toledo walks in my room. Tom Amstadt says, we're going to take care, tells my mom, we're going to take care of your boy. We want him to have the rock from the second he walks on campus. And he did. Guy was a flat-out stud in the Mid-American Conference. And
what years was he at Toledo?
He was in Toledo 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, I believe.
Was he there with Lance at all?
Yes. They're no, you know what? He may have left a little bit before Lance. Lance was there after I left. I left after 2000. So I think Lance was there after me. But yeah, I bet they. I'm gonna look that up now. Damn it.
No, because I think they might have been because you got to think I went to Wayne State in 05.
Mm-hmm.
And Lance has me by about 4 or 5 years, so he might have had like a year or two with them. I'm thinking. Look at that real quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
We'll talk amongst ourselves.
Chester was he left in 02. He got drafted in 02.
He was there with Lance
for
a little bit.
Lance was, I think they may have crossed one year.
And for people that don't know, we're talking about Lance Moore, Super Bowl champ with the Saints. Also played here in Detroit with me as well. Also played in New Orleans with him as well. Great guy. Had him on the show.
It was 1 year.
Yeah,
it was 1
year.
Because I had just missed Lance. He graduated 05. I had just missed him. But I was there when Chester was there. So when Lance was a freshman, Chester was a senior.
Yeah, I wonder if he played as a true freshman.
Yeah, I can look that up. No, it's interesting. It's amazing. Steve said, I remember Chester.
Yeah,
and that's, those are the guys that I'm talking about. Guy went to the league, had himself a nice career, but, he didn't have to go to Iowa or Michigan State or Michigan or Ohio State. You know what? Went to a place where he knew he was going to get the rock and made the most of it and ended up being a National Football League player for a few years. So good stuff. All right, listen, we're going to transition, talk some draft. Again, I can't believe we're just a couple weeks away. I'm also a school child in this regard. I've said this before. I love when the schedule comes out. So I'm hoping that shortly after the draft they announce the schedule. And the schedule is going to look so differently with 17 games now. So I know that's coming up. We do know the one that the Lions are going to be playing Denver, but talk a little draft when we come back. First, let me tell you about 8 Mile Vodka. 8 Mile Vodka, born in Detroit and distilled in single 90-liter batches to allow for optimal quality control and care, then carbon filtered, aerated, and bottled at the perfect time to produce a subtle taste with smooth finish and a character all its own. Am I biased because George from 8 Mile Vodka is my next door neighbor? Yep. Would I also tell you that it was good vodka if he wasn't? Yep. No doubt about it. It's fantastic vodka. May I recommend on behalf of my wife and son, they love making mules with it. They said nothing is better for a mule than 8 Mile Vodka. It is an exceptional premium vodka that can be chilled, enjoyed straight, or you can create whatever beauty cocktail you want. I'm going to go ahead and suggest the Moscow Mule. Now, the next time you're out, ask your bartender for an 8 Mile Vodka or pick up a bottle at Meijer. And as always, drink responsibly. Talk a little draft, some names that are being thrown out there. Don't you go anywhere. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys and ladies. This is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking Thorogood boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
What up, though? Welcome back to the Baligian the Bell Show here with Joique Bell and Sean Baligian. Having a little draft talk here. Let's talk about the Lions.
I want to hear about it.
Did you look at Mel Kiper?
I did.
You did?
I'm looking at it right now, as a matter of fact. I'm going to say this again. You're going to hear me say this 100 times. The draft isn't what it is today without Mel Kiper. Whether you like him or not is inconsequential. He is made the draft coverage what it is today. I respect Mel. I think he talks out of his ass half the time. No disrespect intended.
What did we talk about the other day? Bull.
Yes. Yeah.
Is an art form?
Yeah. Oh, it is. It is.
Bull crapping is an art form.
But to your point, I'm going to run through his latest mock draft yesterday. To the shock of nobody, Trevor Lawrence, number 1. Zach Wilson, number 2. Yep. I told you. Niners, this is the one, his name has skyrocketed. Mac Jones out of Bama to Miami.
What was it? Like, what is it?
Do you know what I think it is?
Is it mobile? Like,
one man's opinion. Do you know what I think it is? I think we're finally starting to hear what teams really think about players. As the draft comes closer, because before then, all we hear are the draft beatniks, right? Like guys like Scott and Kiper and things like that. We hear from the draft beatniks, but what we really start to hear is what teams really think about him. I'm going to say this about Mac Jones. And I told you this before. He better go someplace where they protect him.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he can't be successful because all one has to do is look at Drew Brees, right?
Right.
All right? But he better go someplace that protects him. Obviously it's in a quarterback's best interest to be protected regardless. But some guys need protection a little bit more than others. Mac Jones is a guy to me that you better have mass protect on him because I just don't think that he's a guy that can do things otherwise. He's a facilitator, if you know what I mean.
So you see they have my guy on there going before we even get a chance to, they even had a conversation about him.
Yep.
Trey Lance.
Yep.
Hey, I'm telling you, it's something in that kid that I love. I love it, and teams like it too. And I told you, I thought he was better. And I told you before, they said we might get Justin Fields. If you look, Justin Fields dropped down to 10.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing how that works out.
Am I crazy? Am I saying something? Because I've been saying this the whole time. Like, I've always liked Trey Lance over Justin Fields.
I didn't understand why he was listed 4th among the big quarterbacks. I didn't. It didn't make sense to me. I think a lot of it comes back to, and this is what Scott had said. It was North Dakota State and the fact that they didn't play much last year.
Yeah.
And I think that's so short-sighted. If that's the logic that you're using, it's so short-sighted.
It's so funny because your guy wasn't ranked this high. Now your guy has moved all the way up.
Yeah.
Your guy Zach Wilson has moved all the way up.
Oh, I love him.
Now, so what is it about Zach Wilson that you love so much, though?
He has it. I know that sounds cheesy.
No, it's not cheesy.
Okay, watch him play. He has it. He makes things happen. I'm a firm believer that in today you need playmakers in the National Football League. The day and age of the I'm going to stand in the pocket and deliver darts is not ending, okay? I'm not insinuating that it's ending. Please, nobody misconstrue. But you know what, Joique? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out that the game has changed and it's all about the passing game, right? I want that guy that can make things happen, that can facilitate. If a play breaks down around him, he can keep plays alive. I think that's why you see guys like Russell Wilson and the like have the amount of success that they have because they can keep plays alive. And Zach Wilson, if you watch him, is like an electric wire. He really is. He's an electric wire.
Does it surprise you that the first person that is getting drafted outside of quarterback, the first 3 picks that he has is a quarterback, and the first person coming out would be tight end Kyle Pitts? Now, generational talent. We've always talked generational talent. Would you pick him over Jamar Chase?
I trust Scott, so the answer to that would be yes. Because he has been Scott's going to be in with us tomorrow, by the way. Scott has been talking up Pitt so much. Literally, watch him tomorrow. When he comes in tomorrow, you'll see the drool come out of the side of his mouth when he starts talking about him.
You know what, though? When he plays, you know who he kind of reminds me of? He kind of reminds me of like a Vernon Davis. Like the way he can just make plays, his athleticism, the way he can go up and get the ball. Yards after the catch.
Yeah.
Yards after contact. Like, he's just doing he reminds me of a Vernon Davis a little bit. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's kind of what I see when I look at him.
Steve brings up a good point. He said Waddle barely played last year as well. You know what's different, though? You're talking about a wide receiver at LSU versus a quarterback from North Dakota State. And there are still short-sighted people that aren't going to give a running back from Wayne State, I mean a quarterback from North Dakota State, they aren't going to give him the time of day, and they're going to apply strikes to him that they aren't going to apply to a player from LSU. And of course, obviously, we're talking about quarterback and wide
why
receiver.
is that?
It's stupid and short-sighted.
This is their.
Other than that,
this is their term. This is their logic on guys who go to smaller school. You're playing against inferior competition. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. What are you doing when you play against them?
Yep.
You can't control who you play against.
Nope.
You can't control that. And then they fought you, right? They fought you for going to a smaller school because you were overlooked by the bigger schools. So when you go to these smaller schools and you ball out, they look at you and they discredit that because it's inferior competition. Regardless of who you playing against, because you're going to play against guys in Division II that are going to the next level. I played against multiple guys who got an opportunity to go into the NFL and make millions and millions of dollars, and a lot of those guys are still playing now. And so it's weird to me. I don't like the logic. I don't like the laziness. All right.
That's what it is. It's lazy.
It's pure laziness.
Yep.
I don't want to watch film on this guy. This guy's one. You have some guys who they're going to be due diligent. They're going to do their homework. They're going to have some guys who are just going to do just enough to get by, and those guys there shouldn't have a job in the NFL.
Well, and it cracks me up too because a lot of times, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard somebody say this. Well, how did that guy end up at fill in the blank school? How'd that work out for Walter Payton? How'd that work out for Jerry Rice?
Tyreek Hill.
Hey, listen, I'm going to evoke the name of Tom Brady, a guy that wasn't even a starting quarterback at Michigan, for goodness sake. Couldn't win the job outright because of Drew Henson. I mean, it's how short-sighted is thinking like that, man? It doesn't make any sense to me. And so that's why I root for guys like that, because, Joique, whether people want to admit it or not, people are looking to make excuses for guys like that. Here, you know what? 2 days in a row, the name Josh Allen's going to come up, right? But any excuse you could find, people are going to make over Josh Allen. And I get it. He doesn't look pretty when he does things. Are there any added bonus points? Like, does a touchdown actually count for 9 points if you throw this beautiful dart in the back of the end zone? Are there bonus points rewarded for pretty? It's not art. It's such backward thinking. You know what? If Joique Bell scores a touchdown, it counts the same as if the most beautiful running back in the history of mankind scores a touchdown. It doesn't, he doesn't look pretty when he's doing it. Does he do it? Yeah. That's what I care about. Does he do it? Okay, then let him do it. Steve said, I'm convinced Sean dreams of Josh Allen. I might.
I just got to look in the camera on that one.
I might.
If he can, no. Let's just go back to when you said if he can do it, let him do it. Because it's a lot of guys like that. Like I tell you all the time, we had a tight end on our team, Dave Osbury. I felt like he was probably overall the best tight end we had.
It's a big statement when you think of some of the guys you had, too.
Yeah, Pettigrew, Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
He was overall, when it came to being able to catch the ball, get yak, block, he was up there. Broke his hand. Sat out, didn't make the team. When I tell you this guy was very talented, he was talented. I mean, he caught my attention in training camp. I had never seen him before. I didn't know who he was. And when you catch the attention of other teammates during training camp, when there's 90 guys out there, and you're trying to focus on your plays, you're trying to focus on you, and a player catches your eye. I saw him catch the ball on the sideline and just shoot past everybody on the sideline as a tight end. No one can catch him. And I said, who is that? Like, I had a nudge.
Yeah.
I had a nudge. I'm like, hey, who is that guy? I had to go introduce myself to him. I said, what's up, boss? Like, what's your name? And we started talking, and then funny thing is, he lived in L.A., and so whenever I went out to L.A., we trained together. Like, we always trained together. And so it's guys like that you can get in the draft later on that can be a sleeper. I think he might have been a 4th-round draft pick when he came out, went to Oakland, then penned out in Oakland, left Oakland, and we ended up picking him up here in Detroit. And it was a great pickup, but it was a numbers game. How would you guys feel? Joique, I'll ask you this question before we go to the break, but I want to ask you guys out there as well about this question. And remember, if you want, you can call in at 313-552-6322 or to our Facebook friends, YouTubers, wherever you may be watching this extravaganza right now. Let me get through the picks, and then I'm going to ask for Joique's opinion when we come back from a break. Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jags. Zach Wilson goes to the Jets. Mac Jones goes to the Niners. 4th, the Dolphins take Kyle Pitts out of Florida. Cincy takes Penei Sewell. The Falcons, via trade with the Dolphins, take Trey Lance. And at number 7, the Detroit Lions select Jamar Chase out of Louisiana State. So here's where I'm going to ask you guys when we come back. What do you think about that? Joique, what do you think about that? Mm-hmm. And as well, I have an added one for you. I have a mock draft from The Athletic that could be very intriguing because there could be a couple names on there that might cause pause. And one name that I've been saying for a couple months, I did not expect this person to be there at 7. And if he's there at 7, you run to the podium and worry about the particulars later. We'll tell you who that is as well when we come back. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. So glad you could join us wherever you may be on a Wednesday. Is it still morning? It's still officially morning right here on Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10 and a half months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Yes, hi. Glad you could join us, Woodward Sports. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. What up, dope Wednesday?
What up, dope?
Steve, I like what you said here. If that's the way it goes, Slater or Chase is fine. All right, if that draft goes that way, are you cool with that? Are you cool with taking a guy that,
No, I this is what I want. I want us to trade back. I want somebody to offer, give us a great deal, and we take that and we go back in the draft. We still have our first round pick, and then, we get their first round pick for, the following year, along with a second round pick. Maybe.
Could you imagine 3 first rounders next year? Think about that. 3. Now, remember this. The bill will come in about 5 years, okay? But the good thing about when that bill comes in is, you know what? We have 4 years of game tape to look at and decide whether or not we want to re-up with this player and that player and that player on their second contract. Joique, that's the one good thing about it, okay? Because I've heard, trust me, I've heard some people say, all right, yeah, but let's be careful because then that first round money bill starts coming in and the second round money bill starts coming in. And my response to that is, well, if you're assuming that you're going to hit on all those players, you've got a legitimate point. The reality is you're not going to hit on everybody. I mean, that's the way it is in the NFL draft. I don't know how else to see it. Yeah. I want to increase my chances of hitting on people, and more picks means I increase my chances of hitting on more people. But Then when it comes down to that second contract that you know a lot about, at that point in time, if I don't think that Fish is worth the investment, I give Fish a tip of the cap and I say, Fish, I wish you all the best, and I invest in Joique Bell or I invest in Alex or whatever the case may be.
Dang, Fish, they're going to throw you out the aquarium.
Hey, Fish.
Happens.
Fish. Nothing personal, Fish. It's just business. Right?
Yep, got it. Just business. You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's
he doesn't want his job. He doesn't want his job.
No, I don't mean any disrespect to Fish, but if I don't think that Fish is worth me investing that second contract on, you know what? I'm going to set him free. I'm going to open up his little guppy tank and let him swim out into the ocean. He's a big fish now, and he can do it on his own. But I mean, you've lived it. That's the reality of the National Football League. I can love you with everything inside of me. Joique, you are my brother. You made me look smart, okay?
When?
No. I'm just saying in general, if I'm a personnel guy. You made me look smart. But, Joique, guess what?
What's up?
I have to move on now.
Why
I wish you all the best. I'm gonna help you find, where do you want to go? You want me to make a phone call to Chicago for you? I'll make a phone call to Chicago.
I would love to go to Chicago just to see the look in your face when I play against you.
You see, you're being mean now. No, but I mean, you understand what I'm saying, right? I mean, it's a bit, and the same goes for you. The same. Oh, you don't want to pay me? It's time for me to get my roses. You don't want to pay me? What up, Chicago? What up, Green Bay? You know, I mean, it's a business.
It's a business.
And so when I hear people talk that way, and how are we going to pay all this in 4 years? I'll worry about it in 4 years. Let me obtain the talent first.
Well, you know what, though? We have number guys for that, so we don't need to worry about that. Let them worry about that, and my job is to get these players here. Hey, Johnny, what the numbers looking like? Oh, we hit the cap limit? Oh, no more cap space? Oh.
Nope, no more cap space.
No more?
Nope.
Hey, I'm gonna go get this guy, so I need you to restructure some stuff, figure it out. All right.
Now I'll see what I can do. Thank you.
No. That's your job. Go figure it out.
That's it.
That's it. Go figure it out.
What's your job? Your job is to bring in talent.
My job is to bring in talent that make sure we put our coaches in the best position to win. That's my only job. And now it's times to where we might need a guy at this position, but this other talent over here is better. So we know we need help right here, but we can't pass on this guy. That's what we should have did when we had Eric Ebron, because we needed Eric Ebron was a good guy and we needed a tight end. But you can't pass up on OBJ. You can't pass up on Aaron Donald. You can't do that, right? And that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. No, and it's interesting because here's another mock that I wanted to throw out there. This is a guy, if you don't know his work, Dane Brugler does a fantastic job for The Athletic. He comes out with like his big list all throughout the year, and this is something I wanted to read to you. He has Lawrence going number 1. He has Wilson going number 2, Mac Jones going 3, Trey Lance going 4. He has Jamar Chase going 5. This is where it gets interesting. He has Kyle Pitts going 6. So do you know who he has falling into the Lions' lap at number 7? Penny Sewell, an offensive tackle. And this is where, if you followed this show, this is where I've said this line: I would run, not walk, run to the podium if Penny Sewell is there at number 7. Run. And I get what people are saying, okay?
He's not going to be there at 7.
You know what? You know what the response is? Whoa, wait a second. You've been the first guy to say this offensive line is coming around nicely. I have.
You have, but we still need more pieces. We
Amen.
need depth. We need depth.
You are getting the undeniable best tackle in the draft. Period. End of story. No debate.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't turn your nose on that, especially when we all know now, whether some of you want to admit it or not, you know deep down inside, this is a rebuilding team. I know you can't force yourself to say the Lions aren't going to win 11 games this year, but they're doing it the right way and they're rebuilding. And you are adding a super young player to that line.
Rebuilding.
Oh.
Say it again. We're rebuilding.
Rebuilding.
And you always want to start your rebuild from the quarterback in the trenches. You have to get players in the trenches who can make plays. That's period. If you win in the trenches, it's going to make your whole lineup look that much better. If you want an example of that, just go back and look at the 2014 and the 2013 defensive line and look what that defense did back then. You go look at that defense, you tell me. We talk about this all the time.
Yep.
We do.
Yep.
If he's there at 7,
no way.
If he's there,
no way. Grab him. I love Slater too. I know Steve made mention to Slater. I love Slater out of Northwestern. Because then all of a sudden, what is kind of a strength becomes a super strength as far as I'm concerned. And I'm going to say it again. I like the pieces that they have on the offensive line. Joique, as you said, you add more, but you've got some good pieces on there already. You have arguably the best center in the game. Decker's game improved immensely. Let's see what the future holds for a guy like Jonah Jackson. Now you're going to add a 20-year-old stud who's the point-blank best tackle in the draft, or even add Slater to the mix. I'll worry about which side who should play on later on. Well, is he really a right tackle? I'll worry about that at another day, because you know what? I know I got a stud. And if he can't do it, maybe the other guy can, and vice versa, and you can do things like that. So, to me, that's inconsequential. Here's the biggest part to me, Joique. We all talk about what the Lions are going to do at number 1, and of course we will, because it's a high draft choice. It's number 7. You know as well as I do. Do you know what's really going to sing to all of us is how well Brad Holmes and his staff do in the later rounds, because that's how you build a team. And I know it's not as sexy to look at it, and that's why I love looking at some of these drafts like Brugler. Like Brugler was like, we'll take a wide receiver out of LSU at 41, and this kid out of Virginia Tech at 72, a linebacker out of North Carolina, because that's where value is. You can get a good linebacker later in the draft. How about Ambry Thomas out of Michigan as a corner at 112, an edge rusher out of Notre Dame at 153? That stuff isn't as sexy, but that's how you build. That's how you go from rebuild to build, is hitting on those picks.
No mistakes. Right?
Yep.
No mistakes.
Gotta hit on the top ones, as Steve said. Gotta hit it.
No mistakes, which is almost unheard of.
Yep.
It's unheard of. But when I say no mistakes, I mean destroying 3 rounds.
Yep.
All right. If you miss out on one guy, we can bounce back from that. But you can't. We can't miss out on 3 rounds. We can't do it. Now, it was the year that you liked, the year that when they brought in Theo. You liked that draft.
It was a darn good draft. The 2013 draft, right?
We need
look it up. Hold on.
We need that for the next 3 years.
Oh.
We need that type of draft for the next 3 years. All right? And not including the extra picks we're going to get, because somebody's going to get a head coaching job, someone's going to get a gym job, somebody's going to go off to another team and lead that team and lead another team, and we're going to get those picks for that. So I'm excited to see what we do this year, but I'm more so excited to see what we do next year and the year after.
Yep.
I'm more so excited about those years.
It's so funny. We are on the exact same page. I've never thought this way in my lifetime about the Lions. And what way I feel is I'm not even worried about next year. I'm not, like, honest to God, this season, Joique, of course I don't want to see him go 0-17 or anything like that. Please, I take it and put it in perspective. I'm not even thinking about, hey, can we take a step up this year? I'm thinking exactly the way you just said. I'm thinking about, okay, what are we going to do next year? Ooh, that extra first-round pick. Ooh, what are we going to do the year after that? I've never thought this way my entire lifetime. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah.
It is. It's like it's pretty stinking cool. Here's that draft, by the way.
Okay.
You ready?
Yep. Running back.
5th overall, Ziggy Ansah. 36th overall, Darius Slay.
Yep.
65th overall, Larry Warford.
Yep.
132nd overall, Devin Taylor, who was a flat-out stud. I saw him at camp, and I could not believe how good that kid is. I thought he was going to be a stud. Do you remember
DT.
Devin?
DT.
Holy crap.
DT.
Sam Martin,
Oh, yeah.
Corey Fuller, Theo Riddick, and then 2 7th-rounders, Michael Williams and Brandon Hepburn. You give me a draft like that. You give me 2 or 3 drafts
Mike
like
Williams
that.
and who? Who was the other one?
Michael Williams and Brandon Hepburn.
Linebacker?
Let's see. He was a linebacker. Yep.
Yeah.
Good memory.
Yeah.
I gotta see where he was from. Florida A&M.
Yeah.
Florida.
I think he
Florida.
might have been there for a year or two. And then Mike Williams, tight end. Did he come in as a tight end or was he coming in as a
Yeah,
O-line?
tight end. Mike Williams.
I think they moved him over to tackle, or they moved him to the interior, I believe, throughout his career. I think they moved him to the interior. But that was a good draft.
Heck yeah.
It was a great draft.
You kidding me? That's you get yourself. What, Devin Taylor? I remember. What practice was it? I couldn't believe how lean Devin Taylor was, and my concern was, can a guy like that hold up in the league?
Yeah.
When you're that lean.
Yeah, he had to be about 250, about 6'6", 6'7".
Yeah,
I mean,
he was just.
He was a tall guy. He kind of looked more like a basketball player.
Yes.
All right, he looked like a basketball player playing defensive end, but he was long and he was slinky. He was he can get around. He had good speed coming off the ball.
I thought he was going to be a
and
stud.
then he can always get his hands up high enough to knock a pass down. So he served his purpose on the team. All right, and plus he was on the team where he had a lot of greats, and so he was able to learn a lot. You had Jason Jones, you had Ziggy, you had DT. I think we also had last name was George. He was pretty good too. Yeah, we had another guy. Last name was George.
I thought he was going to be a stud. I
mean, he was. I think he was running with the twos. He was running with the twos.
Yeah,
he was running with the twos. But he was getting a lot of playing time now. And for the people who watched that Green Bay game, that tackle or that ghost face mask that they call on DT on Devin Taylor was not a face mask. It was a ghost face mask. You cost us the game, refs. Damn it, Sean. Why don't we find refs with these horrible calls? Huh? Horrible. There's no repercussion. There's none.
You know how sometimes things happen and you lose your mind? Like I can give you examples of, the Cowboy game, okay? Like I literally lost my mind. I literally lost the Packer game that you just brought up. Like do you know that was one nothing. Does that make sense? Like I'm not like when that whole sequence of events happened, I had every reason to lose my mind and scream and go on a cuss-filled rant and everything. And I just remember like being like this. Just total shock. Just going, huh? What? Like you understand what I'm saying? Maybe you guys can relate to that out there. Fish or Alex, you guys can relate to that. Sometimes, I bring it up all the time, the Cowboy game, Dez taking off his helmet. I'm howling in my house. I'm hopping in my house like a madman, just going, people have got to be seeing this, right? I mean, this, that, and the other thing. That Green Bay game, to me, just hearing you say that, it takes me back. It was a dark place on that Thursday night, Joique, because I was mad, but it was almost like a stunned state of silence mad, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the worst kind of mad. It's almost like let me yell and rant and get it out of my system, because the stunned silence, you feel like you're going to mentally cave. Today's the day, I'm going to start quivering, and then they're going to put me in a nice room, and I'm going to be in a nice coat and keeping myself, company and all that. That's the way that I felt that game. You
really need to cool off, Sean. And so let me tell you about Northwestern Tech. Start a new career in the industry that is always essential, the heating and cooling industry. That's why I told you need to cool down a little bit because I was going into that segue. Learn more today by visiting northwesterntech.edu. Joique Bell, Sean Baligian, Baligian the Bell Show, Woodward Sports. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. And at Hall Financial, we treat our clients like family. And our number one priority is giving each of our clients 5-star service. Our passion for 5-star service, combined with our expertise, allows us to find the best possible solution for refinancing your home loan. We take the time to focus on both the individual and the numbers. We're going to walk you through the process and close your loan in half the time of our competition. Go to davidhallmortgage.com today.
Morning, Art. Morning, D-Mac.
What up? Glad you could join us. In case you missed it, Anthony Mantha, goal and an assist with the Capitals. I believe he was the second star of the game last night. Firm believer. I don't want people to like lose their mind over this. Firm believer in the term, to get something, you have to give up something. For the Wings to be able to pick up pieces to help them through this rebuild, you have to be able to give up something. Wouldn't it be nice if you could just hand off, jettison off spare parts and get first-round picks or second-round picks or talented players like Verana for nothing, okay? It doesn't work that way. I have felt, and if you've watched me either here before or one of the various places that I've talked about hockey, Anthony Mantha was a guy that and I'm going to be intrigued to ask Joique about this, to see what his theory is about this from the National Football League perspective. Mm-hmm. But sometimes in the NHL, there's a term called and I used this term when I was talking to Darren about this. Change of scenery guy.
Change of scenery.
Sometimes he's a good player. It isn't the right circumstances. He doesn't have the right pieces around him. He's a change of scenery guy. It doesn't mean that you think the guy stinks. It doesn't mean that the guy was a complete bust or anything like that. He's a change of scenery guy where his career might, not always, but might flourish just by a simple change of scenery. And I have long felt, and I've told Darren McCarty this for a good year, we were just talking about this a couple days before the trade happened anyway, Darren and I'm sure Darren would vouch for it. He's a change of scenery guy. Anthony Mantha is a guy that needs a facilitator. Anthony Mantha is probably a guy that needs to go someplace where people aren't looking at him as being a quote-unquote man or the future of the franchise and things like that. And it was time to go. And sometimes, Joique, I've heard people say, well, what do you mean change of scenery guy? If you can play, you can play. Well, yeah, you're right. But sometimes you're just not in the right place with the right people. Do you guys in the NFL, do you believe in change of scenery guys?
Yes.
Like, you all look at a guy, Joique Bell can play, but you know,
I'll give you a perfect
might not
example.
happen here.
Let me give you a perfect example of that. A guy leaves Detroit and goes off and goes to 2 Super Bowls and win 1. Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah.
Change the scenery.
Yep.
Who else? Who else had a successful career?
And you know what? Maybe even to maximize his own potential, it would be in his best interest to go someplace else. It just kind of got stagnant here.
Yeah,
you know,
it is. And so, are you leaving because you don't believe in the team? Are you leaving because, like you said, the team is stagnant and you don't see any success in the near future? Are you leaving because you? Sean, you funny. Are you leaving because you just, mentally here is just not doing it for me, and just certain teams and certain places you just have a certain feeling, right? Kind of like with Lance when we had Lance Moore on the show. I think when he went to Atlanta, and just kind of the culture that was built inside of him when he was in New Orleans, he said it just didn't feel right playing in Atlanta. Like it just,
I remember that.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. Now, he was in a good situation in New Orleans, and the change of scenery for him was a little bit different. All right, and it just depends on a person. It honestly depends on a person. It's funny because I saw a clip of Blake when he went. He went and he got his first. I think his first point was a dunk in Brooklyn. His first 2 points was a dunk, and I saw a meme of a guy who was at a party in a wheelchair, and the wheelchair tipped over, and he caught his balance, and he started dancing because he really could walk. And they said this is Blake Griffin when he left Detroit.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, change the scenery can sometimes be good. It could be a mental relief for you, and when you know, wherever your mind goes, your body will follow, right? And so when he left and he got that breath of fresh air, a lot of different players, they thrive. They thrive.
I like what Steve said here. Anyone who left the Lions during the Quintricia era benefited from the change of scenery. Yeah, sometimes it happens, and it's not. Keeping it with Mantha again, it's not that. I'm not saying that the kid was a bust or anything like that. It was probably in his best interest to go someplace, and I think the Red Wings realized that. It was a heck of a steal by Steve Yzerman to get a quality player and get those 2 draft choices. But like the change of scenery thing is real, and it's funny because one of the questions that Kennedy asked is, have there been guys here that have flourished? Who has flourished here the most since leaving the D? That the one that goes to my mind, because we watched him grow up right in front of our very eyes. Yeah. And we watched him turn into.
I know you're going to say.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to surprise. How about Max Scherzer? You watch Max Scherzer go through the ups and downs and the inconsistency, the maddening inconsistency early in his career, and then by the time everything comes together, Joique, he leaves, gets his gazillion-dollar contract, and becomes one of the best pitchers in the league. And that's money. There's nothing you can do about that. Max was going to get money. God bless you. I'm never going to begrudge a guy of that. I give anybody the tip of the cap for that. You go get your cash.
Go get that cash.
Seriously, get your bag. I'm never going to begrudge a guy for that.
Go get what?
A bag.
Go get your bag. Who taught you that word? Who taught you that?
Yeah, you did.
Sean,
I just want to make sure I said it right. I was off. Because sometimes when I say things, you guys laugh at me. Like when I talk openly about WAP, it's like, you guys, everybody's like, there he goes
What's
again.
WAP again? What's WAP?
Wings and pizza, right?
Yeah, it's wings and pizza.
I love wings and pizza. So,
hey, Fish, you like WAP?
Certain types.
Alex, you like WAP?
Obviously.
What's WAP? What's WAP, Alex?
Wings and pizza.
There you go. Absolutely.
Hold up. Put it back in your face
Jenna?
when you say it.
Wings and pizza.
You just have like a evil smirk in your eyes when he says wings and pizza.
Wings and pizza.
Wings
What?
and pizza.
Okay, now I'm intrigued since it came up. Fish, you said certain types. Certain types of WAP.
Yeah, the certain types of that would be wings and pizza.
Yeah, okay. All right. So is it certain types of wings and certain types of pizza? Or just your team wings and pizza across the board?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to have some wings and pizza for
All
you
right,
sometime.
Fish.
Wings and pizza, of course.
Alex
right?
hilarious, man. Alex is funny, man.
No, who did you think I was going to say, by the way? Guys that moved on. Yeah, but wish you all the best, all that crap.
I thought you were going to say Sue.
Yeah.
I thought you was going to say Sue. Another person who left and went and got a championship, Verlander. Left and got a championship, but...
At least the Tigers got a great package for him. No, but I mean that's what drives me out of my mind.
You know what really grinds my gears?
What really grinds?
Shout out to Birmingham Roast.
Guys that go someplace else. If you go someplace else chasing the bag, I'm not going to worry about it. If we trade you away hoping for equal value in return, that's when it hurts. I mean, the Tigers don't have a damn thing to show for Justin Verlander.
Nothing.
I mean,
Not a thing.
you gave away one of the best pitchers in the game. Dude went and won a World Series immediately, and what do the Tigers have to show for it? and then people wonder why I'm so hard on Al Avila. Look at his moves; they've been atrocious. There's no other way to say that. I'm not making anything up.
The leadership, huh?
Drives me out of my mind. You can't trade guys away and not get anything in return. You can't. I mean,
He thought he was.
What's that?
He thought he was. He thought he did.
I hated the deal from day one, personally.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Can I tell you? But you have here's the thing. You have to make a move. Okay, you have to make a move. But at the end of the day, it's what am I getting in return? And this is why I say it all the time. And I'll use Brad Holmes as an example. I like what Brad Holmes did for Matthew Stafford. I love that package. Okay, but how are we going to feel about the package if 3 years from now, the picks that came back, he didn't turn them into studs? That the guys he drafted don't do a thing. You know what I mean? If you and I are sitting here 4 years from now, all right, and I say, let's re-examine the Matthew Stafford deal. Those 2 first-round picks that the Lions got for Matthew Stafford turned into who? Guys that aren't even here. Are we going to be sitting here going, what a great deal that was? Do you know when it becomes a great deal? When those picks are made to work. You know what I'm saying? I like the deal.
I hear what you're saying, but we like the deal now. Was it a good deal?
Yes.
Does it become a great deal?
It should. Damn it. It should.
It should.
It should.
And
yes.
if it doesn't, we get some guys.
Then we
you know what, man?
Then we have to sit back and have those conversations.
I do not see us making bad decisions with the guys that we have in the front office, and the moves that they've made so far, and how they're going for. Like, I don't see it. I don't see it. I know that this year has been a little bit different on how they have been able to evaluate players. But one thing that doesn't lie, it's the eye in the sky. Game film. Watching the game film, watching the players between the plays, seeing what type of players they are. Are they going to go the extra mile to go get the block? I remember when we talked to Coach Mockins, he said that he sees everything he needs to see on the tape, that he doesn't even go to pro days. Now, he has the opportunity to go, but everything he needs to see is right on the film.
Sure.
He said, well, I need to go, I can see on the film. And so we put a lot of he doesn't care about a 40-yard dash. He doesn't care about how far you can jump. He doesn't care about your brother. He doesn't care. What are you doing on the film? Like, who came up with these drills and said, if you guys can do all this right, you'll be a good football player? Who came up with these drills and just said that?
I don't get it.
I'm sure it's just a guideline. It's just a baseline on. We just want to see where you guys are. You know?
Grammy Whammy just said WAP sounds good for tonight. Doesn't WAP sound good?
No, Grandma.
No? No, Wednesday night?
No, Grandma. No WAP for you. We'll get you some pizza and wings, though.
If I had my appetite back, I like that's going to be one of the first things I do.
You know what's funny?
I'm going to have a big plate of wings and pizza.
My grandmother's actually watching this on her phone because they're driving up. I was going to surprise you and bring them in and let them sit right there.
Oh, that would have been fun, yeah.
That would have been great.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Would have been great. Bring them in, let them sit right there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Hold on a second. I wanted to get back to something Vinny said. Vinny said, look at Thomas Tatar. He left the Wings. He's doing great. Double A, Andreas Athanasio, not so much. Went to Edmonton and now is with L.A. You know what the thing about Tatar is, and I see him every game? Thomas Tatar is a good part. Thomas Tatar is never going to be the man. Thomas Tatar is never going to be your full-fledged stud, but put him with other good parts and you can watch him thrive. And that's exactly what happened to Thomas Tatar in Montreal. Fish, what do you got? Let's go to the aquarium. Here he is, Fish.
So you keep saying that you lost your appetite, right?
Yes.
So you're having something happening on Saturday
Yes.
What's going to happen when you're cooking this food from, 8 p.m. on Friday till whenever on Saturday?
You know what? I still like to cook for people. I don't know how much I'm going to eat it. It's weird. I just, Joique, I don't know how much you lost I don't know how much you lost your appetite. I mean, I have no appetite. It's weird. I've never had anything like this.
My appetite is back, but I was kind of glad when I lost it because I was able to put myself back like on a specific regimen, and so now it's more consistent and it goes well with my workout regimen. So I'm kind of happy it happened and it helped me to reset.
Yeah, I've never had anything like this. I just don't have an appetite. It's weird.
All right, I want to talk to you about the NCAA.
Yes.
And their new rules, but after we come back.
Definitely. Let's do that. And when we come back, Alex, I'm going to talk about my friends at my bookie as well. Don't you go anywhere. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand.
Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Hey, let's be honest. Watching any sport is a heck of a lot more exciting when you've got a stake in the game. Regardless of why you play, you need a platform that makes it easy, and that is what MyBookie does. They make it easy. Bet MLB regular season matches, NBA player props, every other major event, like the highly anticipated boxing match between Ben Askren and Jake Paul. Place a single wager of $20 on the fight. You'll get a free $20 bet for UFC 261. If that is not enticing enough, back the former Olympian's corner and you'll get a 2-to-1 payout with a MyBookie's odds boost on Askren to win the fight outright. Sign up this week with promo code Woodward to take advantage of an up to $1,000 bonus on your first deposit. That's promo code Woodward to grab yourself a free cash bonus on top of the free bets and boosted odds. Askren and Paul, it's a fight that nobody asked for, let's be honest, but everyone can't stop talking about it, and you won't want to miss out on it at MyBookie. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. It is amazing how much the college world in general, Joique, has changed. Talking about likenesses, dropping the silly student-athlete stuff, blah, 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 blah. Everybody calls it for what it is now, and it's a gazillion-dollar operation. But the NCAA, Joique, is now close to transfer rule changes. The D1 Council meets today and tomorrow to vote on proposals. It would grant all college athletes one transfer without having to sit out for a season of competition. It is believed that it is going to pass, and I say bravo.
Bravo. And you know what it does? It gives kids an opportunity to weigh out their options, and it also, this sucks for coaches because the lies that they might be telling some of these athletes when they get to these schools, they have a way out without any penalties. Now, when you sign your letter of intent, what are they going to do with that? Do you still have to sign that? Will you still have to sign a letter of intent? I don't know.
It's a great question. I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't just have a signing day, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work, but I love it. I love it. It gives kids the opportunity to go to a university, see if they like, sometimes it might not even be the team. It just might be the school.
Sure.
It might be, you don't know what it might be, but you know what? I have a person that I know that's in college now who's thinking about transferring. But if this rule comes into play, they won't have any penalties. And that's now, with that being said, like moving up, would it have to miss out on a year? Or is it moving from school to school?
It is moving from school to school.
Like from division, like the same division.
I'm gonna guess that would still be the same. That you could, if you're moving from a division, you could just move from a division. That's my guess.
Without having a
that's
because the rule was before that you can move from like a D1 to a D1 AA and not miss it on a year because you move down.
Yep.
But when you move up, you have to miss it on a year. That's the old rule.
Yep.
The new rule is you can move up or down, correct?
Yep.
Without having to miss a year. Now, if that's the case, then I love this deal. I love this opportunity for the kids. They're making it more about the kids and less for the university, basically.
You know what's interesting about it too, Joique, is to me, you're talking about the biggest decision that you've made in your life up until this point in time.
Exactly.
And it's such a silly way to do it because I don't know about you. Over the course of my life, I've changed my mind a few times. Okay?
Yeah, you have.
Just a few times, right? And a decision that I thought was smart at age 46, by the time I hit 47, 48, maybe that wasn't a smart decision, right? Nope, you're stuck.
Right, but
you have
to stay there.
What?
You basically you're on listing for 4 years.
Right? What? No.
Yeah.
No.
So it's funny because when it was time for me to make that decision, I told you I didn't sign on signing day. I didn't end up signing my letter of intent until 2 days after signing day because my mom told me that, listen, Joique, you're going to miss your scholarship. I need you to sign these papers because I want you to go to Wayne State because they care more about your education than you playing football. And that's what I think that's the best place for you. I said, Mom, MSU is still looking at me. I don't want to, miss out on the opportunity. And she said, Joique, you're going to lose your scholarship. Well, I'm not going to lose it. She woke me up early that morning, like around 5 in the morning, and had me sign a piece of paper. I didn't know what it was. I was asleep. I said, Mom, I just want to go back to sleep, so I signed it. And on the phone call, I said, Mom, I'm not going to sign anything until after, I make sure MSU doesn't want me. And she said, no, you already signed it this morning. I'm about to fax it off now. And she faxed it off. And I tell her, best decision I never made. End up at Wayne State, and I do not regret it at all.
Best decision I never made. I love that line.
You love that one? The best decision I never made.
What a great line.
And, end up going to Wayne State. And like I said, I don't regret it at all. Loved it. Love my university. Bleed that green and gold. And that's where my legacy lies. That's where it lies. And that's where I was able to meet you. I would have never met you, Sean.
True story.
I would have never had you on my highlight. I would have never had you on my highlight.
No? True. Wasn't that
You
sweet?
made my highlight. You made my highlight, Sean.
No, you made your highlight.
No,
Let's
you
be
made.
honest.
I had you on the highlight, and you see, we cut the music off so we can hear your voice on the highlight. We cut the music off. We said we got to get him in there. Never knew we'd be working together. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's interesting. It's interesting, Joique.
Lynn says, Mom knows best. My daughter wants to go to Wayne State. And Lynn, I'm telling you right now, the things that Wayne State is doing right now, you would not go around Wayne State. I believe it's still the biggest Division II school in the nation. Biggest in the nation.
It is, Joique, I look at old pictures of campus. Forget about when I first started, okay? Going back to 2009. When you first started, where there was still a crown on the field. I mean, it's just stuff like that, okay? You look at what it was now 10 years ago and what it is now. It is unbelievable how vibrant and alive it is down there.
Yes.
And I don't care.
You know what it is?
I don't care who you graduated from or who you're a fan of. How can't you look at a beautiful place like Midtown Detroit and see how alive and vibrant it is? And,
so alive.
That's got to put a smile on your face,
developing,
right?
If for people who don't know, I mean, this is how big. I mean, from not apart from what Dan Gilbert has done downtown and how this kind of branching out throughout the city and throughout the Midtown area, Uptown, Corktown, and now Wayne State, where the Pistons have now come down and they have their practice facility actually on Wayne State campus.
Yep.
Their D-League basketball team is building a brand new arena on Wayne State campus. And so now all of the Wayne State basketball games are going to be played in that arena. So we're basically playing in a professional arena at Wayne State University. So I love it.
10 years ago, at the corner of the stadium that Joique built, you had the football stadium, you had a baseball stadium, right? Mm-hmm. Now all of a sudden you have these beautiful renovations being made to the football stadium, a Green Monster replica at the baseball stadium, Ernie Harwell Field, and this beautiful old facade now behind the stadium. You have this unbelievable kind of convocation center, indoor facility. You have this weight room. You have
the weight room that was just built out, 10,000 square feet.
And you have, as Joique just said, this beautiful D-League arena being put up state of the art by the Detroit Pistons. Mm-hmm. That's all in the span of a decade.
Yeah, great deal. You know what?
Wonderful.
You know what's crazy? That the president is doing such a great job that somehow we actually still own the land that they're building on, and they're paying us rent, and they're going to build it out, and then they're also giving our students access to play their games in there, every home game in there. Great deal. It's a great deal.
I can't wait to go in there and call a game. I mean, seriously, I've missed calling the games the last couple of years because of COVID.
And I think they're actually moving our Hall of Fame over into that facility.
Oh, are they really?
I think so. I could be.
I know a few Hall of Famers.
Huh?
I know a few Hall of Famers. I do.
You know
Guy by the name of Joique Bell, Josh Rennell. Are you familiar with
Troy Burrell?
Troy
Dante
Burrell.
Dunn.
Very familiar with
Dante
his work
Dunn.
too. Yeah, good.
Dante, what's up? Josh Rennell, what's up? All guys I played with.
Love it. Love it.
All
love it,
guys
love
I played
Josh
with.
just became a father, by the way. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Josh just became a father.
No, giggity.
Joique and I we're taking care of personal business right now. Congratulations to the Rennells. Absolutely. You know what? Some stuff came down. Steve brought something up. Charges against Aaron Donald. Couple other things to talk about before we get out of here today. Don't go anywhere. I believe we have a couple more breaks, don't we, Alex?
Yeah, we got one more.
Yeah, I think we got it. We got a couple more breaks. So, anything you need to chat on before we hit the break?
Oh no.
Okay, definitely.
Thanks for tuning in.
Definitely. We'll come back, talk a little bit more about the NCAA news with Jadeveon Clowney. And you know what, Lion fans? I want you to take some hope from this, okay? I'll tell you why when we come back. He's Joique Bell. I'm Sean Baligian. This is Woodward Sports.
Spinning him down, putting the ball in the one. Second and goal, and Joique Bell goes in for the touchdown.
Joique! What's up, Joique? Hey, Joique! Hey, Joique! Hey! Hey!
Well, hi there. How are you? Just a few minutes left in the show on a Wednesday. So glad you could join us. In case you missed it, Jadeveon Clowney, 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns. Ian Rappaport just tweeted this out a few minutes ago. Thanks to Steve. I saw Steve make reference to it a few minutes ago. But fresh off a lost season, Clowney has high hopes with his new team, the Cleveland Browns. Now, how does this affect the Detroit Lions? We went to break. I said, I think this affects the Detroit Lions. How does this affect the Detroit Lions? Let me tell you why I think this affects the Detroit Lions. And Joique, you feel free to jump in and yell at me or agree with me, okay?
I'll probably yell at you.
Okay, cool. You know what? You change your culture, you start to win some football games, and people are going to want to come to your city. I have never, for a second, bought the BS that people don't want to come to Detroit. that people don't want to come to Cleveland. Do you know why they don't want to come to Detroit? Do you want to know why they don't want to come to Cleveland? Because they've been sad sack franchises. That's why. I've never, ever bought into, well, people, they don't like the Rust Belt. They think that this city's crappy. What is it about Detroit? What is it about Cleveland? You know what? You change the culture. You win some football games. You show that you have something special going on. You show more than even just competency.
I'm going to tell you this what it is.
And Lord knows we haven't even had simple competency around here.
No, it's yes. I think what you're saying has some validity to it, but it's not all right? You know, having a winning football team here is not going to make people want to move here from Florida, Texas, California. Now, what it will do is capture their attention.
Absolutely.
It'll capture their attention. And you might have a person who say, you know what? I'm a Lions fan. I'm a Lions fan. Let me go catch a game in Detroit. And they come up to Detroit. They go to the game. They win. They enjoy themselves. They go out on the town. They stay the night. You say, you know, I'm going to say one more time. I want to go around the city. Now, when they go around the city, they can see how beautiful Detroit is. Go to the DIA. Go to the Science Center. Go to Belle Isle. Go to the riverfront, right? All these different venues, right? Go to the restaurants downtown. Go to Primer Proper. You know, go to Campus Marshes. You know, go ice skating, you know, in the wintertime, obviously. Or go to Campus Marshes when they turn it into a little beach. Go see the things that Detroit can offer you. And look at all the opportunities that could be, right? And so that's what's going to get them to stay. You know, that winning culture, and then also what the city has to offer. And then the thing that makes Detroit so unique isn't even those things. It's the people that are in Detroit that makes Detroit special. One thing that I always hear when people come to Detroit, it's not what, for the first time, they'll say, Detroit is not what people make it seem.
No.
The people here are so genuine. They're so nice. I like it here. And they want to keep coming back over and over and over. And that's how we get them. It's not just having a winning football team. It's going to be everything together, working together cohesively, and pulling more people here.
It's interesting because Jadeveon Clowney's a guy that could go sign pretty much anywhere, right? And Jadeveon Clowney decided to sign with Cleveland. And it's because something good started. And when I hear people say, Joique, well, free agents aren't going to want to come here. Well, they're not going to want to come here more often than not because of a lot of the ineptitude that has hung around this franchise. But when they see, Joique, the who's who of coaches that they put together, the infectious enthusiasm of Coach Campbell, and they start to see the product change on the field, you bet your behind. Who doesn't want to be a part of that? Who doesn't want to be a part of something that's on the cusp of being a winning culture? And look, what has Cleveland won yet? They haven't won anything. You know, they took a big step last year. They knocked off their hated rival, knocked them off in good fashion and everything.
That's what they won.
But all of a sudden, you know what? All of a sudden, Joique, maybe guys are going to look at this and say, as Steve said, they'll come when there is hope. You know what? When things are looking good, and all of a sudden, hey, you know what? All things considered equal, I have a chance to go to Tennessee. They're all right. Tennessee's all right. But you see what Detroit's going on right now? Detroit's exciting. That's a good, young, exciting team.
Yeah.
Tennessee, you know what you're going to get with Tennessee. You're going to get a whole lot of Derrick Henry and some smash mouth football and everything. Detroit's got some pieces. I'd like to be a part of that. You know, some veteran who's looking for his payday. Whatever.
I tell you this. Another big reason why I went to Wayne State is because I wanted to be part of something that has never been done.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You know, we never won a national championship, so I wanted to go to a team that hadn't had a winning season in 30 years when I got there, Sean. And by the time my class graduated, we were the winningest class in school history. And then, you know, the next class broke that, and then Troy Burrell and his class broke that. But we were able to start that, all right? I wanted to come to Detroit when I had the opportunity to go to either come back home to Detroit, go to the Vikings, or go to Denver. And I made the choice to come back home. And I felt it was only right. And this is where my heart was. And I wanted to be a part of the first Super Bowl that Detroit has ever won. And so when you go to these certain teams, you're going to these certain teams to leave a legacy. And that could be a big reason on why Clowney went to the Browns, all right? And so once we start to develop ourselves as a winning culture here and start to get more pieces and start winning more games and start to be one of those usual suspects that you call it, then more people will want to start coming here and play for this team because they won't be a Patriots team where they have one of many. You'll come here, you'll win one, and you'll basically be a Greek god here, you know.
Forever.
You'll always be loved here.
And we'll always remember that a guy like Jadeveon Clowney could have signed anywhere else, but he loved what he saw here and decided to want to be a part of this. And so we'll always, like, you will be a hero for that forever.
Yeah, for forever. So you look at, and then you look at the younger guys. The younger guys, we see that. We honor that. That's why we can sit up here and we can have a conversation with Tony Harrison. We say, listen, you know, he ran you off names. You're like, wow, those guys? Because he saw those guys and he respects those and he respects them. And now he's doing the same thing he saw them doing in the community, if not more, right? And so it's guys like that who come back and, you know, we respect it, and we want to go to teams to where we can go somewhere and we can change the trajectory of their culture, of what's been going on there. And, you know, and I love to see it. I think it's good for Detroit. I think it's good for football in general, and I think it's good for the teams that don't get the respect they deserve, but on their way to the top.
I adamantly don't believe that guys don't want to come here. Guys will want to come here if you start winning, if you have a culture. And look,
I'm gonna tell you, this is one thing I like now. What we're doing is that when players and for certain professional teams coming to town, we're keeping them in we're showing them properties in the city. All right, we're showing them properties in the city, and they're staying in the city, and they're paying taxes to the city, property taxes that's going to go back to our school districts for our youth. So I love what we're doing here, and I love that Detroit is really cleaning itself up and developing itself to where people are fighting to get in the city to find locations. So I love it.
As Steve said, that D-line in Cleveland looks scary. That's it, man. You nailed it. That's the type of stuff people get excited about it. People want a front row seat for it, and
that's what he's looking at.
And Joique, when you add the infrastructure stuff that you're talking about that's going on in Detroit right now, is there more work to be done? Of course there is. But you know what? It's growing by leaps and bounds. It's getting a reputation. You're reading good stories, from national publications about the continuing renaissance of this city, and this time it's real. It's not just, hey, look at this block over here. Doesn't that look pretty? You know it. Drive down Woodward. Go through the old Edison, whatever the case may be, man. You're seeing it with your own eyes.
Go down Atwater.
Yeah.
Yeah, go down by the riverfront, right in front of the Renaissance, and just drive that little strip and look at the developing that's going on, and look at what's also going to happen in the future. You have the former owner of the Bills, Ralph Wilson, donate, I believe it was $30 to $50 million to the redevelopment of the riverfront, and so their foundation is giving I think around 10 to 15 million a year for the next 10 years until they develop the whole waterfront. So it's exciting to see. The city's coming back, Detroit's coming back, and we're gonna make some noise.
Boy, are they having fun. Our Facebook family is having fun today, and Kennedy's right in the middle of it. Shout out to Kennedy, by the way.
What's Kennedy?
Yeah, she's right in the middle of it. They're a lot of talk about WAP today. It is Wednesday.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't Wednesday WAP day?
Yeah. Jenna says, wah, 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 wah. And then my sister says, absolutely. Abby, sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. Hey, no, we overdue for a break. We had this one last break. Stay tuned. You have Sean Baligian, Joique Bell, Baligian the Bell, Woodward Sports.
Hey, it's Joey from Woodward Sports, and I am here in downtown Fenton at Bridge Street Exchange. This place has so many amazing things for guys. And ladies, this is the hidden spot that you got to come check out. I'm talking thorough good boots, best boots ever. They have barware. They got the Stormy Cromer hats. They got Carhartt hats, a huge Carhartt selection. They even got Snoop Dogg underwear. So go check them out, bridgestreetexchange.com, and use the code word WSN for 15% off.
What up, though? And we're back. MSU football spring scrimmage. Not going to have any refs there. Still up in the air. I miss these games. I miss these.
Amen.
I miss these. You know what? The only thing I don't miss about these spring games is when the weather's terrible in spring. I remember we'll have to put tape on our helmets on our air part because it'll be a snowstorm outside and we didn't have an indoor facility, so we had to practice outside in a snowstorm, and we stand together like side by side with these things with this tape on our helmets to keep the air from getting in there, and have to practice in that for 2.5 hours. I couldn't stand it.
Do you know what, Joique, I'm telling you, the thing that I miss the most, and I'm sure this means nothing to you, I miss when you guys can first put on your shells and you can first put on the pads that first week of August down at Tom Adams Field. I miss that. Like, yeah. I can't wait to walk out. I can't wait to walk out on the field because it's like the routine that I've had with Coach Winters for years now is I'll show up to that first practice and he'll see me and he'll go like this and he'll wave me over. Because I'm not going to walk over there until he waves me over. That's his domain. You know what I mean? Right. And I respect that. I'm serious. Right. And you know, Coach, what are you talking about? I'm like, no. You wave me over, I'll walk over. But I'm not walking through all these football players to go talk to you until you wave me over. Joique, just standing out in the middle of the field and watch things happen around is such a it's cool one of my favorite things all year. I'm not joking. And maybe I'm a little kid, and I kind of felt that way about the spring game because a lot of times it's not a
you like watching all the periods
game. Yeah, but you know what? I'm down on the field and I'm getting a different view at it than I normally do.
Yeah.
And it's cool.
So how it usually works, we have about 3 weeks of training camp, and I remember coming in from high school from having 3 days of training camp to having 3 weeks of it. And so that was a big difference for me. And what you do is you practice all week, and then on that weekend you'll have a scrimmage. And you go through another week, you'll have another scrimmage at the end of that week. And then you go through the last week of training camp, and you have like the final scrimmage, which is a little bit more intense. And then that's going into the following week for the first game. And I remember planning those games, and I remember the very last scrimmage we had. We came in the next day for meetings, and at the time I was third or fourth string, and the coach came in. They said, "Listen, guys, we're going to make some changes on the depth chart before we go into this first game," and that's where they moved me from third or fourth string up to first string. And they put Chris Middlebrook, who was a senior, at second string. And we had another guy by the name of Smitty. His name was Smitty. He was a junior. He was from Florida. Fort Lauderdale, put your L's up. Fort Lauderdale, put your L's up. And so we had these guys, and it was just a cool experience. And those training camps, they made us eat Winnies and beans as freshmen because we couldn't work out with the team during the summer. And so for anyone who made their 110 test, they got steak, or they made it to 90% of the workouts in the summer. They got steak and they got shrimp, like steak and shrimp, and for the people who couldn't make it, they gave us Winnies and beans. And I remember my roommate said, "Man, I'm about to quit, man." I'm like, "You about to quit because you had to eat Winnies and beans?" Like, I didn't understand that, but Hey, guys, it's coming to an end. You got Sean Baligian. You got Joique Bill here with another episode of Baligian the Bell. Tap in tomorrow. Gang, gang.